October meeting of the Ware Conservation Commission. Our chairman, Andy Fulton, is running a little bit late. I'm the vice chair, Steve Najar. We've got Sherry Burdick here. Ray LeMay and Mark Phillips are present. The other members are absent. So we do have a quorum, and we can go ahead and start conducting business. Our usual kind of routine here is to go ahead and hear from the guest first and try to get them along. So, Tom, you're first on the agenda. Okay. For guests. All right. And this is Tom Carr from Meridian Land Services, for anybody that doesn't know.
You can do it right there.
Yeah. Yeah, we can go ahead and.
All right, thank you, Mr. Vice Chairman, members of the Commission. I'm Tom Carr, for the record, from Meridian Land Services, and I'm here tonight to present an expedited dredge and fill permit application for Dylan Bovair. I have 5 of the applications here that would eventually go to the state, so I'll pass those out if you want to look through them. We sent it in digitally, but I don't know if that got distributed around, but you can kind of breeze through this if you'd like. I've got 3 copies of the plan up here. The plan we see up there now is what we'll be considering specifically tonight regarding the dredge and fill permit and the impacts, direct and indirect, to the wetlands. I'll also show you the septic plan with the wetland buffer and the wetland setbacks highlighted just for your just for your information. And then at the end, when we're through discussing any of the issues with the wetlands permit, I do have a plan that we'll be presenting to the zoning board for the buffer impacts with amounts. So that would be, that'll be coming down the road. We had a few email exchanges between Andy and Steve and I about, what came first, and we kind of assumed that the wetland application would come first and then go to the zoning board with knowledge of that the application had been submitted to the state and was pending review with them. So that being said, this is a lot on Jewett Road. The owners of the property did receive a variance from the zoning board to be able to build on a Class 6 road. So that's been secured. Again, the zoning issues with the wetland buffer has not been addressed yet with the zoning board, but that will be forthcoming before, obviously, a building permit can be pulled. This is on map 410, lot 16. It's a 29.3 acre lot. This, again, is a minimum impact expedited permit for a single family dwelling. The driveway is, you can see the orange highlight on the plan. That is the direct impact to the wetland there. It's being crossed at the narrowest place. I've walked up and down the whole frontage on Jewett Road, and it's wet for a section all the way along that road. So there's no way to get across to the building site without impacting wetlands on this property. We were originally going to cross further up on Jewett Road, but as you see, there's a small ephemeral wetland that comes down on the left. And what an ephemeral wetland is, in case some of you don't know, is it's an area where water leaves a wetland that the area doesn't technically classify as a jurisdictional wetland because it either doesn't have hydric soils or enough hydrophytic vegetation. But when it is attached to a wetland and acts as a recharge area and it's ephemeral, it does qualify as a jurisdictional wetland within the Wetlands Bureau's jurisdiction. So we had to move the driveway down further south on the driveway to avoid that ephemeral area to where it's shown now. The green area on that plan is the indirect impact, which is essentially an area where there's construction activities in the wetland adjacent to the fill area up to the edge of the erosion control. The direct wetland impact and permanent wetland impact is 201 square feet. Again, that's the orange. The temporary impact is 161 square feet. We're allowing about 4 or 5 feet of construction area on each side of that direct impact and permanent impact, for a total of 362 square feet of wetland impact. The threshold, of course, for an expedited minimum impact is 3,000 square feet. We have an 18-inch culvert set at grade in there. We had the engineers look at that and size it for us. The driveway, we've decided to, normally we would do a 10-foot driveway with 2-foot shoulders. What we've shown on the plan is a 12-foot driveway with 1-foot shoulders. It's a 360-foot long driveway, so we felt a little bit wider travel surface with a foot less shoulder was appropriate. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to flip the page. I'm going to show you the septic design, so you can see the house location with respect to. You can see a wetland that comes down under the proposed conditions note there. So the driveway comes in here. This is our direct impact. These are the indirect impacts on each side. We have our erosion control both sides. There's another wetland that comes down through here, and it's soaking into the ground very much like this wetland does here, so it doesn't continue down through. This is the wetland buffer, 25 feet. This is the 75-foot wetland setback for the septic system. This page is just, again, I'm just showing this so you can see it. It's not being submitted. It's not part of any application package at this time, but once we do have the variance approval and the wetland impact approval from the DES, this would be submitted to subsurface for their approval. So driveway's coming in here. This is the wetland that comes down soaking into the ground. This is the 25-foot buffer, the green line. This is the 50-foot building setback, the orange line, and the red dotted line represents what we have as the limit of fill or limit of disturbance associated with this construction. So the house is up here on the high. There's kind of a ridge that runs down there, has really beautiful southern exposure. So that's basically it for the septic design. So before we talk about the upcoming buffer impacts that we'll be showing to the zoning board, Mr. Vice Chair, I'll turn it back to the commission for any questions, comments, concerns, whatever else I could answer for you.
Okay, thanks, Tom. So just kind of the general approach in the past has been for the commission to review these things for completeness. So I don't know if anyone had a chance to take a look at it. You know, things like making sure the natural heritage review is in there.
That was in there.
Yeah. So, you know, anything that you see on the application, I mean, I kind of breezed through it on email and just looked through this. I didn't really pick up on anything, but just want to open it up.
I don't have any comments.
Give it a couple seconds and let me know,
Yeah, no problem.
Mark and Sherry, if you have any thoughts.
Tom, how far above that old culvert where the brook runs underneath, how far above the driveway?
Yeah, I would say that's probably 200 or 300 feet up the road. It's quite a ways.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I thought so looking at this, but I wasn't sure.
yeah. We did, interesting you mentioned that. We did, I did spend some time with him up there cleaning that culvert out. It was clogged
It was clogged last year.
pretty heavily with some pretty good sized wood, logs that came out that had gotten in there and got tangled up. I know that it still flows over the road. You know, we had such intense rain this July and early August. There was plenty of time to see how badly that culvert was not working. But we did clean it out very, very significantly, and it works much better now. Yeah. And we just did that by hand, no equipment or anything. Yeah. The pictures, you'll see in the pictures, I mean, we've classified this as a forested wetland, and in the pictures you'll see that there is water flowing in there. Again, we were up there in, I think it was early August, and the amount of rain that had come in July, and we had gone just after a pretty heavy rain event, so it's what you're seeing in those pictures is really an abnormal representation of the water flow through that area.
I'm so tired.
An alarm? Should we be awake?
It was an email of some sort, I guess. I don't know.
Pain, Ray.
Yeah,
The construction business is just.
this time of the
Scale.
year, it's,
All set, Mark?
yep.
Sherry, you all set? Okay, so being, I mean, it seems like the package is complete. The only conundrum I personally had was, you know, what comes first, the variance or the minimum impact, you know, and obviously there is no guidance. We've never really sorted that out. So essentially, one of the members would need to motion to either sign or not sign this, and then we'd just vote on it, and if we vote to sign it, either me or Andy will sign it.
Make a motion to sign it as a complete package.
I'll second it.
Okay, great. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, it's unanimous for the record, so, do you need this, you plan on taking this and
If
giving?
you could sign it, if you would sign it tonight, I would take it to the town clerk tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and sign it.
And have
so.
them sign it, but would the commission like to hear about the buffer impacts at this time, or we want me to come back after we actually file for the zoning? I mean, it's,
I think you just covered it. I mean, it's a forested wetland,
yeah,
but the pictures are pretty, I mean, does anyone have further questions about the buffer, or
I can
just?
just, I'll show you the buffer plan, because I did spend some time to color it up.
Okay.
And just come up with some amounts.
Yeah.
So, again, the same color scheme for the permanent and the temporary impact at the wetland itself.
Yeah.
The 25-foot wetland buffer comes down along here, and then it's just barely reaching or close to the stone wall here. So the dark green area represents the buffer impacts, and again, we have to cross the wetland as perpendicular as possible and at the narrowest place, so we're forced into this location. Total wetland buffer is 1,863 square feet, with 1,110 on this side and 752 on this side. So that's basically it. You know, unfortunately, the buffer impacts kind of come as they are based on the dictation of the Wetlands Bureau's minimum impact to the actual wetland, so.
Don't you have to go wider for like turning out of that later on the road edge there? You're almost kind of like straight, although it's,
There's, I don't have a highlighter, Steve, but we do have a pretty
See a
good
curve
curve
there.
here,
oh, okay.
right
I
at
can
this
see it from here.
location.
Oh, yeah.
So we're about 20, this is 1 inch equals 20 scale plan, so that's about 22, 24 feet at the edge of gravel.
Yeah.
So there's a pretty good flare to that.
Okay. Well,
You
thanks for
can see
that.
it better on this plan here. The stone wall, and then it flares out.
Oh, okay. I was thinking, yeah, got it. I was looking at the rock wall. It's narrower there. I got it. Yep. No, looks good. Yeah, if everyone wants to hand over the packets, I'm just gonna go ahead and sign them.
I really want to thank you guys for letting me on in pretty short notice, Naomi. Thank you for taking that and getting us on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for coming. Thanks for the great presentation.
Ray, really good to see you.
Yeah.
I think it's been 12, 15
long
years.
time.
Yeah, it has been. Yep.
It goes by fast.
I know it does.
What's today? The
13th.
all right. There's one.
Are
Keep
you
an eye on me
still,
there.
still living down off of River Road? Yeah.
Same place.
I've driven by many times and I've wondered if you were still living in there.
Still us.
Yeah, good.
Oh, yeah.
That's great. I love your business. I mean, erosion control, that's fabulous.
Yeah.
Because I see so much of it that's not done right, you know, on construction sites. And I know your history in construction and,
Yeah, I'm on a few committees, and I'm very much involved with Profile.
Uh-huh.
That makes the mulch products in North Carolina. We've been to their plant a few times.
really,
Yeah, and we're on different committees, boards, and we do a lot of test plots.
Yeah.
With the bonded fiber and different things, so.
really, to chest them and stuff.
I've had a few state specs changed because of what we do. So, works good.
Well, I'll have to get in touch with you because I know quite a few people that could use your help.
Yeah. Well, as you can see,
I know, I know
the
you
beach.
probably don't want or need any more work.
no, it's good. We have some really good customers. Most of the big names, you know, the big contractors use us.
I'm actually retiring this year. Do you need some help?
Yeah,
Because I've always thought erosion control would be,
yeah,
I've had enough of that
we do. We do need help.
side of it.
Well, we talk a lot with Jack over at Filtrex.
Oh, yeah.
Jack and Dave, and I see them, I had lunch with them a little while ago, and we talk about the different things, and
Yeah.
we very much agree on all of the stuff that we do, so we're not really competitors. They have a different avenue of selling their stuff than I do.
Usually high quality people are
that.
not too worried about
No, we have enough.
friendly.
So, yeah, and, you know, and Jack's been very involved in specs, you know, and with
Yeah.
Filtrex and everything, so it helps everybody as an industry,
Yeah, it does.
because it's new.
Yeah.
A lot of it's
She's
theoretical.
only open till 1, 8 to
Okay.
1.
Okay, Melanie, thank you. All right, well, thanks again for your time tonight. Pleasure to see you guys, and,
Yeah.
Thanks, Tom. Have a good night.
thank you.
Neil, are you just visiting, or do you have something? Okay, good deal. Well, thanks for coming. All right, so next on the agenda, blah. Where Winter Wanderers, Ralph? Yeah,
You have to
sure.
go- Or either. Just gotta be able to listen to him. You
Yeah,
can sit if you want.
yeah.
They're gonna look at the back of your
Point a microphone at you.
Okay. So I know it's been a while since we talked about this, so we'll do a little refresher. I have a few things. So basically what these are, just a letter of intent on one thing, a confirmation from Wendy Weisiger on, that we went over a trail on the Forest Society, and she also is speaking for Jeremy Turner for Middle's End. So the first page, I know that the commission here wanted an easement drawn up by an attorney or by someone and reviewed by an attorney. We had an easement drawn up. The attorney had some issues with it. And just because there's so much research that needs to be done between this 3 different properties, the town piece, Luke Drake's, the abutter, and the society piece, that the man that we contracted to do this, Jacques Belanger, he doesn't have the help. He just hasn't had the time. So that's what this first letter is a letter of intent that he intends to do this for the club by the end of the year. It just hasn't been able to get to it. Are there any questions about that, or do we need to, can we move forward, or?
Yeah, keep going, by all means.
Okay.
You know, maybe we'll let you get through it and then kind of ask questions
Okay,
afterwards.
so the second letter, just basically the first paragraph is showing to you, I think that you guys wanted some sort of assurance that we were, Forest Society was cooperating with us to get us through and over onto Meadows End land and then back to our original trail. So that first paragraph is basically Wendy and I had done a walk 8 or 10 days ago. I can't remember what it was. And so that's basically her confirmation that we had the discussion. The rest of it, and it's not complete, is her instructions to me about what we talked about, various water bars. There was one issue on there, but that's actually on the Meadows End land that there's a seasonal runoff, and she wanted me to redirect that rather than it currently runs down where I want to use it for a trail. She wants me to redirect that. And she states in there just to use the best management practices as adopted by the Bureau of Trails. On that third page is her permission form to use an ATV to both access the property, but most importantly for us, it'd be to refuel the equipment, rather than us having us walk it all the way back out to the road and then walk it back in every day. So to refuel the equipment and for us to carry in our signage material, because we won't be able to, that's all been harvested. I don't know if anybody's been over there, but it's all been harvested, so what's left is all crop trees. So we cannot fasten anything to any tree, so we will be relying on stakes and posts for all of our signage.
On the
So
Forest Society?
On the Forest Society and Meadows End.
Okay.
So there's about a mile of trail there that I need to haul stuff in for that. So that's basically what that is. And Jeremy Turner has given me the okay on that. I would be asking the Conservation Commission for that same privilege to use an ATV, because we have to get from Duck Pond Road to Forest Society. That fourth page, so it's kind of hard to see, but if you look at the very top of the page, and there's a little rectangle that says it's 1,950 feet along town land on, that's the Forest Society right-of-way. That straight line running along the, parallel to the yellow line, is an existing roadway on the town property. And that's what we want to use, that roadway there. We don't need to do any machine work on the roadway itself. It's just, it's a roadway, so there's nothing for us to do there. The only thing that we have, and on the very last page, if you see, where is it now? So in the center of the page, again, it says trail northwest of corner may remove yellow birch witness tree. That area right there, I would need to take, there's an 8-inch softwood and a handful of 3-inch or smaller softwoods that I would need to take in a very narrow piece of town land to get onto Society piece. And the reason I gotta do that, the roadway goes right up and through, but it goes on to Luke Drake's property, and we need to avoid his property. We could ask him for permission to use that very corner of his land, but that means we could be back here. I'd as soon, while we have a machine and everything, I'd rather do that. And Wendy Weisiger is okay with us removing that witness tree, and she's all good with the stuff on that, on her side of what we want to do. I did walk over there with Mark, just so someone from the Forest Society would, from the commission, would have seen what we were talking about, what I was talking about, as far as, disturbing or whatever need to be disturbed on the town property. That's about all I have for you. Are there any questions?
So the snowmobile trail now is going behind Luke's land?
The snowmobile trail is basically, there's a walking trail that goes up the side of Luke Drake's land, and we will be paralleling that snowmobile trail, that walking trail. So on that last page, if you look, there's a orange line that denotes the hiking trail going up to Mount Wallingford. That's on Society land. The dotted line is our snowmobile trail, which is basically paralleling that hiking trail until we get there's a red line that basically goes through, there's a board, stone wall there that's already been taken down
A little bit.
from the logging operation when Society logged that 3 or 4 or 5 years ago.
The existing trail ran here towards Flaminder's Memorial, across Luke Drake's property. And we're going out the back.
Yeah, you're going out around the back
Yeah.
behind them. Yeah, that's
Yes.
what I thought, yeah.
But initially here it goes straight across and right along Flaminder's Memorial.
So I'm a little confused on what's going on up by Duck Pond Road, because it would have been more helpful, I think, to have the subdivision plan, but
Yeah, we are not using that this year. That dotted right-of-way, that dotted line that she has written in there, that is actually, I believe, her right-of-way. But it goes across those properties. What we need to do in my, that top cover letter there, is basically define that property line from Duck Pond Road all along this whole way on that town property. We're gonna wanna define that next year and give you an exact right-of-way, so that you'll have the visual and the numbers
It's gonna come right
that
on.
tells you
Right on that
exactly where
line.
that right-of-way is.
So you're
for
gonna
us.
get off those little individual pieces.
Yes.
They're actually gonna come
There's a
Because
very
eventually
narrow,
those will be somebody's someday.
across.
those will be somebody someday.
Cut across.
I've also asked,
Mark, we gotta kind of,
okay,
this is getting, I mean, I'm still getting tripped up on this. So where are we going, so, I mean, we basically asked for, you know, a survey to nail this whole thing down, I think is, and then we wanted to record an easement.
right, and so the thing of it is because we're gonna be changing it all again next year, it didn't make sense to nail down a right-of-way that we'd have to rewrite again next year. We are only asking, none of this exists. We come in currently now over from here, and we're right to this point now. We are asking to use from here to here on an existing roadway.
So from here, so where are you getting onto this from?
We currently come across, these houses aren't built and whatnot, we come across, I'm not sure exact, I believe it's right about here. We currently come across, there's a pond right in here. We come across right here, and this is where we want to go. We used to go across onto Luke Drake's. We want to take a 90-degree turn and use this existing roadway from this point here to that point there.
All right, so you're just asking for temporary permission for this snowmobile
For
year?
this snowmobile year, and next year we will be coming back, we'll actually be coming back with a permanent right-of-way on this particular piece and probably on the other piece, which is this piece here. Where are you? I'm upside down from you. Where's where the hell am I? This piece right here. This is a town piece as well. So next year, we are going to be looking to come across this town piece here this is currently New Boston Aggregate, which is Tebow.
Yeah,
This is currently them, and we come across there. These houses may be built next year, so we will be looking to get, our trail currently comes up and cuts across these. We want to move over a little bit more and get back onto this town piece. And then I have, this one here belongs to Dino Rossi. I have permission to use his piece, and that gives us on to the town piece. So next year, I'll be looking at putting a right-of-way from here, in this point somewhere in here, right up through this narrow strip and connecting onto this, and all of this easement, rather, all of that easement would be in writing.
all right, so here's kind of just my thought, and I want to open it up to, actually, no, I want to hear from you all first, and I've got some thoughts, so I'll hold for a minute. What's the commission have for comments?
As in, you talked about the ability to be able to use that piece of property.
Yep.
This year, as he says, with everything going on,
Mhm.
you can't get the surveying done.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we need the permission to connect to the Forest Society for this year. And we're gonna bypass, I believe you said we're gonna bypass cutting across Luke Drake's, and that takes care of this year.
Yeah.
But as you suggested before, a permanent solution, which we're working on, which has taken more time than we anticipated.
More or less is what we're looking for is I guess, a permission from this board for 1-year use of town property, and it won't be actually, I guess it's not gonna be specific on the site where it actually is, where the trail is. Next year, we will have the specifics for.
It's not even really a year, right, Ralph? It's,
What's that?
when does the snowmobile trails
December
officially close?
15th, December 15th, they open.
January 15th, no, I'm just kidding.
Don't you start.
Could be March,
I know.
could be March.
It's only a
we're
few
so
months,
good.
it's only a few
December-
months.
December 15th, the season opens. Typically, in a normal year, which we haven't been having, we'd go to the end of March.
No, I mean, that's okay, but I mean, when do they officially really close, you know? Wasn't there
When the
sort of a
snow's
date?
gone.
I thought there was a date when they had to close. What's when is a date when they have to open,
Date
right?
is
Yeah.
December 15th as
Yeah.
far as opening.
Okay, all right, so it's just basically to,
We're looking at 2.5 months.
yeah, no,
Roughly.
I'm just, I have a thought, but anyhow.
You're looking for permission or prior to that to do a little signing and things like that?
Yes, absolutely. I'd be looking for the
Yeah.
Conservation Commission's
Did you gonna put signs out?
blessings, if you will, to use the property, to access it. We would have to, right at Duck Pond Road, I would have to limb some of the oak trees that are hanging in. It's grown in quite a bit, and I would have to just use a pole saw to take a few limbs down to get a piece of equipment in there. And I would also ask, I talked with Wendy about this, and the best choke point, right now ATVs are going in there from Duck Pond Road. The best choke point is right at Duck Pond Road, and the club would be willing to put a gate in. Actually, it would be the easiest place for us to cut that off to protect society as well. So, other than abutters, we don't have any control over that at this point. But to keep anybody else from Duck Pond Road, either across the road or down the road or up the road, from entering that property, which we have seen signs of this, when Wendy and I were there, there's ATV tracks going up, and then when it goes into the woods, you can actually see the tires turning up the floor litter. So we would like to put a choke point and leave room for, there's only really room for one, parking for one vehicle. There probably could be room for two in there if the commission wanted us to open it up a little bit, but that would be up to you.
Weren't we not using that at all, though? You just said we were using to here. Is that just to get a piece of equipment in there, or?
Yeah, for
Yes.
this now, that's just to get access up to the
Yeah.
Forest Society side.
Yeah, I mean, so shouldn't we just like not open that up at all, except for just whatever you need
Well,
to
it's-
get the equipment in?
It's an existing road already.
Yeah, I'm just saying, you don't.
No,
open it
I
up.
believe he's talking right at Duck Pond Road.
Yeah,
Um,
well, there's a road there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, it's basically field. It's bordered heavily on one side, it's grown in with white pines, probably 10 or 15-year-old white pines, heavily on one side. There's a brook on the other side, on the right side, and some hardwoods. But that's a good choke point for us. It's be hard for anybody to get around the gate there.
Right, so you're talking about putting gates in?
Is that just
I
above where the old fields were?
That's the key
On
thing.
top of the hill?
Yes,
You're
yes.
just down over the hill? You're just.
Yeah.
As soon as you tip down the
Down the
hill,
hill.
and there's a
On
brook
the
crossing
side.
right there, that's where the entrance
Yeah.
is. But that's the easiest place to stop an ATV or, could be an all-terrain vehicle or anything, anybody with a four-wheel drive.
So just like, I mean, personal opinion on that, I don't want to like see any permanent thing until we've got the license. I mean, if you go in there and you're concerned about blocking it, just drop a tree or a rock or whatever, you know?
We
But,
can do that, too.
That would be my thought, just, but so the thing, I mean, my concern, I have a couple just little concerns. One, I'm really concerned that you guys, I feel like this real time crunch as far as getting this easement done before you're looking at 50 houses and people getting worked up about a trail being there. That's just, you know, I'm just really concerned for that. So I was kind of hoping that we could knock that out, just personal thought. My thought is because the boundaries are unclear in here, is that I think, you know, I mean, to me, like a good outcome tonight would be like for the commission to think about authorizing, you know, either the chair or the town administrator or the board of selectmen, whoever needs to sign it, to do like a use agreement for the time period. What, you know, it looks like, let's just say from now
December
until
through
May.
March, Yeah.
Yeah, and I'd really like the use agreement to come from, you know, from the town attorney. I do get a little concerned with this these, you're coming on and off our land, and I just want to make sure, it's real clear that we're not sanctioning, whatever. I mean, so Wendy might be able to allow you to use that right away.
Coming on and off the land from Duck Pond Road,
Yeah, for the
we
equipment.
we won't be there. We're not on there now, if that's your
Didn't you just say
question.
the equipment was coming in from Duck Pond?
Yeah, but right now, that's just field. There are no houses or anything there.
Yeah, it's not ours to authorize it, is all I'm
Okay.
saying. We can't do that. So that's why I want to be real clear that whatever we authorize is ours.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, if you put this idea onto a tax map or something that has it labeled with the parcel numbers, Laura writes up a one-pager that says, we give you permission from today till May 1st to use this, and we sign it, cool, it's all, there's no mistakes.
If there's an issue with that, I can come in from La France Road. It's a long walk in with a machine.
We don't own it, that's all I'm saying.
I know, but what I'm saying is, if the attorney thinks that there'll be an issue with that,
The hall from La France,
Well,
holy crap.
but I'm just saying, we can't afford a holdup.
Well, the one question is, because it's crossing this
These-
Duck Pond here, the right-of-way shows.
It shows that you're in the house
And I
lots.
know we
Yeah.
didn't get down to where the boundary was, but if we could stay on conservation property, they've
See,
given us permission to use conservation property.
Therein lies the problem. I don't know exactly where that line is.
Yeah.
We don't know. I know where this boundary is up here. There is a stone, a granite post on this corner right here. There's a stone wall that runs across here, and there's a granite post right there. I know where that is. I don't know where this one is.
So if the Forest Society, Ralph, if that's their easement, you could get permission from them to use it. It's not our easement, so we
Okay.
can't give you permission. So I mean, if Wendy gives you permission to walk across that,
Okay,
you've taken care of it,
okay.
And no one could say anything to you. I don't know what their easement language is or anything, but all I'm saying is really need to be careful that it's clear that the town.
I
giving
I get where you're coming from. I
Yeah.
see what you're saying. Okay, so let me approach Wendy about that. Are there any other questions as far as what we need to remove up by that first red bar? Will you see where you come in, and we're paralleling the property? Yes.
Right there.
Is there any issues with where she says we can cut that witness tree there? There's, like I said, there's a few small softwoods on town property that I need to remove to
Who's-
get through that.
Whose property's witness tree on?
That's on society.
Yeah, so that's not really our problem. So you don't want to describe anything that's like on society in the, the statement of what you need to do to the town, because it just confuses things.
Yeah.
If you just say, you're only gonna cut stuff less than 5 inches,
Well, this is
whatever
what
you
I'm
need to do.
telling you, there's on your property, there's an 8-inch softwood
Yeah.
and probably a half a dozen 3-inch or smaller softwoods that I need to remove
Yeah.
to get to the property line.
all
Is
I
there
need to
any
say.
issue with that?
They're not value trees.
I don't even care if they are. I mean, it's a higher value thing than a couple of trees. I mean, it serves a big purpose, so it's not.
Okay.
But, you just need to I would just focus, just have a concise statement with a concise maps, really just showing the town land that, hopefully we could just come up with a motion tonight so that that could just be signed for a land use agreement for a year, and then just, have the, I'm not even clear, on town property for that kind of thing, who signs it, but I'm sure Naomi and Laura will figure that out. If it's us or the Board of Selectmen or
It's usually
Naomi.
the board, but
Yeah, right.
he came here as courtesy.
Yeah, it's awesome. No, I mean, this is really good.
Yeah, and like you say, you just don't want to give permission in case we're crossing on someone's private land and then you come back at us and say, you gave permission to do that.
Yeah. And we know it's not surveyed, so it's, yeah.
It's probably not marked, it's been surveyed.
Remember the way they did that? They did a plan with the bounds to be set. It's a horror show.
Right, that's what I mean, it was surveyed, it's not set.
All right, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. It was surveyed to make the whatever lot lines and whatever distances.
Yeah, but now they have to go back and relocate the whole thing. Yeah, you're right. I mean, but there's no monuments.
There's no monuments.
So, I mean, my thought would be to come up with a motion here that we support the Snowmobile Club, using this year, you know, from now till May 1st, have them have a,
Using the town property.
Yeah.
Because
Yes.
we can't do anything else beyond that.
no, of course
You
not.
could call it the 21-22 season, because it's over in the
Yeah.
spring.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to actually have dates on it, like from the point of signature to like May 1st, and that allows,
Yes.
you know, I think that allows what Ralph said, some limited tree removal and, you know, and then that's all that was really necessary on town land, and, you know, any smoothing or that kind of equipment work, and to traverse with a, what do you use, like mini excavator or something?
Well, it's probably a 12,000 pound thereabouts, 12,000 pound machine.
Yeah, that's good. So, yeah, I mean, so if you wanna, I mean, that kind of covers, it, right? I mean, so if someone wants to like motion something like that, and then we would, you know, we would essentially create a license, or some kind of a permission, you know, from the town attorney to get it signed.
Howdy.
I think this is a pretty easy one, really.
Just so you can catch
Thank
up
you,
with
sir.
what's been going on.
So Andy
Yep.
stepping in.
So
Hey,
I'll
basically,
get it right.
Carry this one to completion with you,
Okay,
please, Steve.
okay.
All right, so, I mean, we're just looking for a motion, you know, for, so, someone, one of you three.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we allow the Winter Wanderers
Yep.
to use town property and to remove several small trees
Yep.
for the 2021-22 snowmobile season, or do you want a date?
Yeah, if we could end May, or whenever you want to end it, yeah.
Yeah. November, do you want to go from November to April?
From signature till
From signature
till
until
like
May
May,
1st?
yeah.
Okay.
And then, for,
Can I ask a question? Would signature be forthcoming anytime soon? or-
I hope so, yeah.
Okay, well, the reason I ask is because we've, you know, the process has taken a lot longer than I thought, and I do have to reserve a machine. If I can get in there in November, I'm good.
I don't see why not. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Naomi will send it right to Laura tomorrow.
Monday.
Okay.
I'm not here Thursday and Friday.
Yeah, and then just, if you could tack on that, either the, you know, the commission signs or the appropriate town authority signs the, license or agreement.
So, so this is all dependent on the selectmen probably signing the agreement with the Ware Winter Wanderers.
Second that motion.
Okay, sounds good. So any discussion? Okay, that all makes sense, Naomi?
Yeah.
Okay, good deal. So we're just gonna go ahead and take a vote. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'll abstain.
Okay, Andy's abstaining. Motion carries. So, yeah, Ralph, I mean, thanks for the presentation. Again, I think, you know, it would be best tomorrow, I mean, if you can just get this on just get your description toned down to just the town property and maybe with a tax map so that Laura and the Board of Selectmen can see just, you know, just sketch where you wanna go on it.
Yeah.
That's all I really need.
So when I do come back, which probably I'll try to get there this spring for a permanent easement.
Yeah.
So you're gonna wanna see, I'm assuming, it'll be reviewed by the town attorney first before it gets brought to you?
No, bring it to us.
Bring it to you
First,
first.
and
And
then-
we'll send it to the attorney.
Okay.
Yeah, I would try to get that done this, you know, and then if like you guys need a site walk or something, or any opinions or anything, just, you know, let Andy know, or Naomi, or me, or wherever, you know.
Yeah.
We'll try to schedule something. It's real important to get it done, though.
Well, I appreciate the board's thinking about us. I didn't think about some of the things you brought up, especially for the continued viability. Maybe another board, you know, 10 or 12 years down the road might not be so receptive.
Oh,
And
we may still be sitting here.
I was told my elected
Not a
position was
chance.
for 5 years, yours is for longer. I thank you very much for your time.
Thanks.
Thought you were doing life. All
Enjoy the rest of the evening.
So I'll
But
talk
it's a
to you,
good group. They do a lot of good stuff.
right, you're welcome.
All right, so we got through the,
Appointments.
yeah, and, so we've got the minutes and the other stuff on the, there's really not much else on there.
Have you all had a chance to look at last month's minutes? Anything calling out for correction or adjustment?
I didn't see anything.
Do we have a motion to move them along?
Make a motion that we accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Second.
Pick whoever you want.
All right, we got Sherry and Ray on that. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed or abstained?
Staying, it wasn't there.
All right. We got
Doesn't matter.
Steve abstaining on them.
Might be a pain in the butt. Do we need to include some kind of language about the use of ATVs at that time, during that time?
Ralph, I think you just want to write everything you want to do in it.
Okay,
Just try to capture everything.
okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Mind if I snag that, Steve?
Hmm.
This agenda.
Oh, here's your package.
Oh,
As I'm
all right,
snoozing.
return. Thank you.
Oh, is this for Andy also? Was this one?
Nope, that, he already has one.
That's a spare
Yeah,
one.
that's an extra. Thank you.
Was Tom here?
Yeah.
Yes.
Nothing, planning board.
Nope.
Uh, Looks like DES correspondence is straightforward. Anybody have thoughts or concerns on that? Good. All right. Other items. Yes, we have a closing date, do we, Naomi, on the
The county, we're
County
the
one?
owner.
part-
We bought,
county?
we closed on county on
6.
October 6th, so we're done.
Good job.
We're the owner.
Did we find out
Oh,
about the
curious.
acreage?
The survey is, Ron's still doing the survey work on
Okay.
Poor Farm, so that's all gonna
Yeah, okay.
release that.
Just curious.
Okay. All right, and on the Barton land acquisition, we're trying to address a request of the Board of Selectmen for survey work, so that's in front of us. We had also requested a, well, we requested of the Board of Selectmen a couple Mondays ago that we rescind the requirement for an appraisal based on additional information. Made good progress on that, but ultimately the Selectmen decided to hold off any adjustments until hearing more back about lot description, lot size, survey elements. So that one is hung up, and we've tried to get through to the seller's attorney to get an extension on the purchase and sale, and I do not believe we have heard anything back from their side on that. So there it sits.
That is not gonna happen, just a FYI.
Yeah.
No
yeah,
way in
that-
heck.
Sure, by the lack of response suggests that is the case, and our window is rapidly coming close on that. So we'll see if we can pull the rabbit out of the hat somehow. Any questions on Barden?
Yeah, comment.
Yep.
So we need to schedule a hearing, it's required by law, to expend from the Conservation Fund. And I think Naomi signed the PNS like on the,
September, was it October?
was
September.
September?
September something.
I
Was
think
the
about the
11th?
10th is, well, hey,
Because our
Let's do a
meeting's
little
the
better than
10th,
that,
so
maybe.
that's the problem. So, I mean, essentially, we really need to consider bumping the November meeting up until, you know, if people can do it to the 3rd and advertising that as a public hearing. If this thing looks like it's gonna go. If not, we could just stay with the 10th.
September 10th?
November.
No,
Oh,
has
November.
to
I thought you
close
said
within-
September. I was thinking,
yeah. It has to close within 60 days, according to the PNS. Yeah, you're not gonna have time with the next meeting would be November 10th, so we've got to do the next meeting on the 3rd. I don't think anybody wants to have a special meeting. I mean, we could, but,
We've done that before, but it's been quite a while, and,
mean,
um,
yeah.
so we want to meet on the 3rd next month?
that's a proposal.
If we clear the Board of Selectmen's concerns on
18th.
the 18th, then, you know, I propose that we reschedule the November meeting to the 3rd to have that as our regular meeting. That works for enough of us to have a quorum. And we have, there's some advertising requirements for this whole routine. So,
Which, yes, really hinges on how things go on the 18th.
yeah, I mean, if it's a no-go on the 18th, it's just, you know, we're done.
Is there enough time for the announcements if
Yes.
we wait till the 18th,
Yeah, the public announcement, what's,
the 2 weeks?
No, public
No.
hearing's a couple days. Do you
No,
remember
it's
no-
usually 10 days.
10
Is
days.
it 10 days
10 days.
for a public hearing?
Yeah.
Okay, so the 18th.
I always
yeah.
say 14 because you can't include the weekend, so it's
Right.
10 days. You know what I mean?
Was it that long?
Yep.
Yeah.
2
Yeah, it's
weeks.
2
State
weeks.
law.
Yeah.
Jeez. Okay, so we need to,
So if you'll know that, you could
Do
put
it
it
on
in the
the
paper right after
well,
the 18th, and you'd still have your 10 days to get to the 3rd.
we can pull this off of them.
yeah, okay.
So the 18th is the board meeting, the 19th you could run a public hearing or give it to the newspaper. It'll come out on the 22nd, so there's 7, 8, 9, 10. It's
With-
close.
With no slough?
No slough.
Okay.
Can you,
Can I what?
well,
You know what you can do? You can advertise it a week ahead, and all you gotta do is cancel it. It's easier than trying to squeeze it out of the newspaper later.
Well, I mean, so do you want to
Right.
send it to the newspaper? Should we just go ahead and send it to the newspaper?
and the worst that happens is we'd have to try to cancel it next week?
No, what you would do, you would still run it, and then you've met your obligation. Come the meeting of November 3rd, you just say the public hearing didn't happen.
Okay, so we just stick with November 3rd no matter, I got you.
You just advertise ahead,
Yeah,
so you've met your deadline requirement. It's easier to not hold a public hearing than it is to try to make up the days to hold a public hearing.
Sure,
Yeah,
sure,
it's
that makes
impossible.
good sense. All right, why don't we run a motion on that?
make a motion to reschedule the November regular Conservation Commission meeting to November 3rd and to hold a public hearing to expend funds from the conservation account to purchase property.
Second.
Just a point of order, Naomi, do we need to specifically say what property for that public hearing or
Yeah.
not?
Yeah, you're gonna tell me how much you're gonna spend too. You can't leave it open.
How much is in the account?
3 something, 280 something, isn't it? I don't remember.
We have to, that's some really old motions now that we had non-public. Did we unseal those? When I made them for the amounts?
No.
I don't think you did.
Do we,
I thought
does anyone
Mike-
have those?
Mike might
I
have.
thought
They would
Mike
be
did.
sealed.
Do we know what the balances are on the forestry and the,
Did Beth send you financials?
I don't know.
Not, they would have to go back for your financials.
I think so.
I thought you
She might
had
have.
enough to cover it because that's why you went to Mildred Hall to get the 40,000 out so you wouldn't be tight. I thought,
Yeah, I think you only need 200 out of that fund because you got 100 still out of the town forest.
Yeah, what's left in town forest. So,
Yeah. I think you had like 289 or something.
gosh, you sent an email about a budget worksheet. It's the last one I got, all right, July, last one I'm looking at here.
Let's see. I have too many to catch up to that.
All right, to not mess this up, what was the warrant,
140.
for town forest? So there's 100 left there. Okay.
Crap.
Conservation Commission seems like it has 304, 356.
We do up to 250 or something like that? Up to 220, 210?
Yeah, I see why not.
I'm looking at the second quarter. I don't think the third quarter yet.
What am I looking at?
302, 904, 25.
I'm looking at this July.
what's in it, Naomi?
As of the end of the second quarter, you had 302, 904, 25
Go to,
in that fund, but you had,
40 came out of that, right?
nope, that's a different one.
Oh, no,
that
40
was-
came out of the town forest one.
One that you had that took 40, we haven't taken it out yet, but as at the end of the
Yeah.
quarter,
Yeah,
you
That-
had, it shows on 1,000. 148, 135, 65. So you've got enough in there between the 40 and the 100. So you need another 200.
So the town, yeah, I mean, the town forest account, I'm just looking at the whole entire thing, because we didn't have any income coming into it this year either. So there's 40 out of it, there was 150 balance, so there's
110 there.
there's
Well,
110.
you gotta, 25. Because you gotta take, don't we take 30 out for the forester?
I'm saying, yeah, next
Yeah.
year, yeah, so that would, because we didn't really take anything in this year, that harvest didn't generate anything. So ideally, we might wanna leave 50,000 there, or just take 50 for this project and take 250 out of conservation.
Okay.
And then, I don't know if there's gonna be time to ask Mildred Hall or not, I was kinda holding off because of this challenges, but maybe still give it a try. Alright, so I guess,
Up to
And then-
250?
are you billing the, closing costs and like attorney's fees and that sort of stuff?
I'd have to ask her where she's billing it. I mean, I have it
You don't know, so should I cover that in the motion, just in case?
just in case.
Alright. Okay, ready? So, we'd like to go ahead and make a motion that we, expend 50,000 from the town forest account and 250,000 from the town conservation account
Yeah.
towards the purchase of the Barden property. I forget, do we need to be any more succinct than that, or is that? I don't have the map and lot number right in front of me.
40196.
401, all right, thank you, Andy. 40196. In addition to the $300,000, included in the motion, up to $10,000 for project fees such as the legal and closing.
Where's that coming from?
The 10 comes from conservation. So the total out of conservation would be 260, and the total from town forest is 50.
I might recommend making that 20 instead of the 10,
Okay, we'll change
be up to,
up to
Up to 20.
20.
now, just for a point of order, we're holding the prior motion and working on this motion presently in front of us.
I'm scratching them together, so.
Uh,
Because the first one was to reschedule the November regular meeting
yeah.
to 11/3 and to hold a public hearing to expend money out of the Conservation Fund, 250,000, and to expend 50 out of Town Forest account for 40196 Barden property. In addition, to spend 20K up to 20K for project fees from the CC Fund.
Yeah, and this motion supersedes the previous funding allocation motion that we don't have access to right now.
To supersede prior motion.
Yeah.
Prior funding motion. All right, could we have a second on that motion?
I'll second it.
All right. At this point, this is really our last opportunity to do this right. Anything else we're forgetting about? I suppose, you know, the only other option we have, and this doesn't require 10-day notification, would be to hold a special meeting of the Conservation Commission, if we needed to make a motion to adjust this within the next week or so. All right, we're comfortable with that? Any other thoughts? There being none, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
It's all in favor. Great.
So I don't think we'd run afoul of the law if we did end up having outside funding by the time that hearing occurs. I mean, we can always check with Laura, but I kind of tend to think that reducing the amount wouldn't be a big issue.
Right. I mean, that's,
That's something I can really see happening.
right. One thing we have not chewed on is the report from Title Pro. I did not see in our purchase and sale, but maybe there's a standard. What do we do with the back taxes that apparently are not, are due?
So I think he's responsible for those.
Oh, they absolutely are.
Yeah.
It'll come right off the,
And when you purchase, he wouldn't get as much money, he's got to pay us for taxes.
yeah, they don't have a clear title. They have to clear the title at that time of closing.
So instead of getting 300, he'd get 300 less taxes and other things.
And that's just, is that a known?
Title company will do that right up front.
Okay. I just didn't see it in writing anywhere.
It'll be in the,
I didn't see it in writing in the purchase and
Well-
sale, and I didn't,
what's the thing, you know, when they list it out right at closing?
It's a pretty standard thing to
The-
take
oh, the
care of the
closing sheet.
liens.
Yeah.
sure.
The only time you'd run afoul of that is if you're buying a property at auction, and then you'd be buying it with all of the liabilities.
Yeah.
Encumber
But a
everything.
standard sale of property usually has to be cleared, and the title company makes sure that that's done.
Yeah.
And that's why you should have a title company and a lawyer do the deal with you, because
Right, they're looking out for important things like that. Okay. Good. Good. We comfortable with that?
He's responsible for taxes while he's the owner.
I just want to make sure we're not gonna run into a situation where somebody says, but.
No, because they'll end up cutting at the when they disperse the money. She tells me how much I have to bring to the table.
Yeah.
And then they bring to the table sometimes. And then it's dispersed. But in this case, I'd bring some money, and then she'd cut me back a check for taxes.
Yeah.
Simple.
Yeah.
And doesn't need to be stated in the purchase and sale.
No.
It's just a,
Because you want to obtain clean title, so.
Well, the purchase and sale's all said and done. I mean,
Right.
that already has that in there. I mean, it's not clear title.
Just like deposit's fully refundable.
Yeah. So that doesn't get changed.
Nothing.
It's just,
No.
it's the closing sheet.
right, okay. Right, it does have clear title, which was what was critical coming
Okay.
from the title company.
With the exception of that, it has clear title.
Right. Right, he has taxes due. There's a lien.
That's not considered clear title with a
All right.
tax lien on it.
Maybe I'm using the wrong, does it have marketable title?
Yeah.
Okay,
As long as they clear that.
which is easily handled in
Closing.
the transaction,
Absolutely.
financial transaction at closing. Good.
Especially seeing as they're doing it with who they owe it to.
That's not uncommon, Andy.
I just wanted,
No, we see it all the time when they refinance through the title companies.
And-
We get checks for, those that haven't paid their taxes, they'll call for a payoff.
good.
Yep.
I didn't see the numbers, but I'll just note that last thing on the Association of
Well,
Conservation Commissions.
it's right here, it's for the 22, so it just goes really in your budget.
Really, and that's a good point.
Yeah.
Budget, that's sent around
Budget forms.
our, actually notified us that it's getting in that season, and what we have been doing is sticking with what we received this year and trying to request that for the next year. Any different thoughts on that? Sometimes it's happened by default because we've made no comment, but it might be better to be a little more affirmative and maybe even have a motion regarding our proposed 2022 budget.
Do we have a budget copy or anything?
Don't have a printout, but Beth did send that to us.
I'm a little confused on the increase-decrease column, because they've got 22 default budget for the transcriber is 720, the proposed budget is 1077, which is more. Then it's shown as a negative
It's the difference between the two.
718. Yeah, but that's positive 718. It's an increase. Because we spent 453.75 in 2019. I guess that may be that baseline year, kind of. 2021 720. So I don't get why that's negative instead of positive. Increase, decrease, proposed over default. Do you get that, Naomi? Is it an accounting thing or what?
That's third quarter.
It's the default 720, proposed is 1077.
Mark, in answer to your
I'm
question.
not sure that I have that I don't have that.
Our 2021 budget is $1,589. Our
See, I don't have that, Steve.
default 2022 budget is $1,589.
Yeah. So if you propose budget,
Yeah, I don't have it.
Our expenses through September 30th have been $455.
you're looking at the 2022 proposed budget, and then
Yeah, I see an increase on our wages transcriber line from
Mhm.
720 to 1,077.
Mhm.
So isn't that just a let's say $300 increase?
Right, I don't understand why that, right, that last line would say negative 718.924.
Yeah. And then none of the other stuff, I guess we need to just carry it over to the proposed? But I don't know.
I don't have it in front of me, I have just the third quarter expenses.
I'm just- My phone's gonna die on me. Oh, they shouldn't email it to everybody. That's, all right. Let's see.
I think she shared it with department heads.
Yeah.
Well,
You guys all got phones on?
I don't know why the 2022 proposed budget would be close to a doubling of our 2021.
Because you're transcriber, you pay by the hour. So all your taxes and everything comes out of that line.
But we've only increased that line by $357.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
I'm
send it
just
to everybody
guessing.
that's here.
So increase that line, increase 1589 by 57 does not get you to 3,000.
Yeah, there's something going on there.
And in that proposed transcriber line, Naomi, is that something that we projected?
No. Beth does all the wages for everybody in town. So that's a fixed number. And we pay Karen in several different departments.
Right.
So she's estimated for 12 meetings at a certain amount.
Okay.
So
So
Beth takes,
Beth
we have to pay her.
Beth generated that number.
Yeah, and those numbers you can't touch. Those will get froze. All the payroll numbers get froze. All the benefits get froze. So that when you do your budget, you're not changing the bottom line by those amounts anyway. Because you have an obligation to pay them.
Yeah, but they're different. What she proposed, and then the FICA and all that other stuff didn't get filled in.
Because it's probably all inclusive. I don't know what you're looking at, so.
All right, so let's just go, can we just fill in the rest of this thing and move on?
Seems like we should. And for those who can't see it, our other budget lines that have been out there for a long time are training, technology, dues, office supplies, and communications. And the dues refer to the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissions, a state umbrella organization. And you have that number there, Naomi?
450.
450, going from, 450 even?
Yep.
All right. So we want to put dues in at $450.
Mm-hmm.
Dollars. And we've been,
Wasn't there some other dues, like to the Timberland Association?
Yeah, there was like a $30 one to the Timber Association. Do you want to make that 480? What do your expenses look like?
not much,
But it would have come out of that already.
yeah. Well, right, it's 424, 455 out of that line.
Jesus Christ, I'm not even.
I'd suggest we bump dues up to 500. Training has been used, not probably in the last 5 years.
I did attend that one they had.
The
lunch
freebie,
meeting.
yeah, good. Say, let's leave that at 50. With somebody, our technology line had gone in there for GIS license,
Yeah, let's come back to that one.
all right?
You know, so like you get the communications and office
Yeah.
supplies, so like the public announcement here, is that actually gonna get billed back to that? Naomi?
What's that?
Absolutely could.
So the conservation communications, actually, we don't have anything this year, do we? So do you just pay for that out of the town budget somewhere?
What technology are you talking about?
Just talking
No,
about
no,
the newspaper
communications.
advertisement or
Yeah.
whatever to post a public
We'll
meeting.
probably call it, I mean, we can take it out of office, we can take it out of communication, you can take it
Yeah,
out
we
of.
don't have anything in there, is what I'm saying.
Oh, we haven't done it yet.
Your 22's empty. Your 21, you had 150. And you spent 0.
We did?
So if you look at the bottom line for communications, let's look at that one.
21
21
Oh, yeah,
expenses.
it's 150. All right, so that's gonna get billed out of there then.
It'll be billed out of one of them,
Okay,
because
good.
you've used
So why don't we
nothing.
leave that at 150?
Yeah, all right, just want to make sure that we were actually using it. So do those, 50 and 150.
Supplies, we'll just leave that at 50.
Yeah.
You could have a letter campaign, I suppose, mailings.
Well, just this kind of stuff would do it,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. And
Can you
then,
make a comment on technology?
no, we're coming back to that one.
Okay.
It's a little longer discussion.
So if we do, if we do that, wages untouchable at 1077. And we're not going to generate anything for Medicare or FICA. We hope that's out of the 1027. Then we do 50 for training, 500 for dues, 50 for supplies, 150 for communications. Brings us back to technology with a $1077 plus 750. What are you thinking on technology, Steve? You had some ideas, or are you working on some other aspect of this?
No, I was looking up the, trying to see if I could find a price, and of course, it's not readily apparent. So kind of question number one for Naomi is, you know, like, it seems like Microsoft's pushing towards this whole, kind of like a cloud type license for all the,
Right?
you know, office products. What's the town doing? Are we biting on that, or are we still have everything just loaded on the machines?
We
and
still have a
paperwork?
server downstairs.
No, I mean, for your actual, like, when you open up Office, you know, Word or
Word
whatever.
processing,
Yeah,
spreadsheets.
I mean, is that a cloud license, or are you just the individual licenses on the machines?
I don't know. I'd have to, I mean, all of our IT is out to bid this year. We have to go out to bid, it ends 31st.
So should
We
we?
did a lot of cyber technology, cyber assessments and things like that we really need to look at.
Yeah, you got a lot bigger
It's-
stuff than we do.
It's getting crazy.
Yeah, so
How
do we want to
quickly?
throw a conservation laptop under that program, or just keep it separate?
I mean, he does the entire town. He does DPW. There's laptops in this building. When we went to remote, a lot of us have laptops. We can work from home.
Yeah, so
He worked on this one to get a solid state drive and solid state drive up the memory.
He's probably got it on his list that he's covered.
so is that,
I
I
don't,
mean, how does the replacement work on that? And then how does, like, the basic software licensing and,
you're talking about my head. Really? I don't know. I really don't know. I'd have to ask him.
okay, so.
I would
yeah.
assume if you're gonna get something that's town, it would stay under the town umbrella stuff.
Mm.
Whatever we do, you guys would do, so we're all together.
So we historically paid for our GIS separately, and then we've kind of fallen down, I think, on
Hmm.
but they get you on a, annual, like, licensing thing that gives you all the updates and
Mm-hmm.
maintenance. I mean, do we need to try to put that in our budget for now? And just assume that the laptop and the rest of the stuff are somehow built into the town one?
Yeah, no, did you just say a replacement?
Yeah, we need to replace that laptop, yeah.
Okay, well, we have no replacements built in right now.
All right, so we could just buy that out of,
That's
Conservation.
where it came from initially, and yes, we can purchase
Mhm.
out of conservation fund.
Yeah, I mean, we have no replacements, and it's too bad, because we should have replacements.
you gotta
There sh-
cycle that stuff.
There should be, right, there should be a cycle.
We were close to replacing laptop, 2019,
Yeah.
and I only suggested, let's have our,
Mhm.
you know, our tech guy take a look at it. He looked at it and said, with a new solid state drive, your processor's okay, why not upgrade? And at no extra cost to the commission. That was done. 2 years later, going on 3, yeah, the machine doesn't improve itself. So if we need to replace it, that's a conversation separate from budget.
All right, I mean, I'm gonna suggest, like,
But
well,
it's, but we do want to incorporate some software, if we have knowledge of some software acquisition fees, reasonable to place it into our budget.
so the problem is, the acquisition fee is like a one-time thing, the maintenance fee is an annual thing, you know what I mean? So I think if you'd kept that, and we're gonna either have to catch our maintenance fee up, we're gonna call Esri and ask them. Or we're gonna have to repurchase the software, they're also trying to push people into like a cloud-based thing as
Yeah,
well.
and that's the way, you know, folks aren't selling discs anymore. It's,
Right, so if we've gotta wag this, I mean, I would say, like, ask for 2,000 a year and see what happens.
We could also check and see if it could be umbrellaed with ours, under the
Might be.
IT part.
So someone's gotta get the license, though?
Yeah, he does all our licensing,
Yeah.
all the PD's licensing, all the fire, all the everything.
well,
There's all different softwares, there's all different program systems that he does.
So the selectmen can adjust this, right? I mean, we just.
oh, yeah, if they see something that makes, you know, a huge jump, there'll be a conversation for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, so we need to
So,
put something in there,
We're starting at 200. We could, I think, pretty well justify it going to 1,000. And if it gets knocked back, it gets knocked back. It is what it
so what do
is.
you wanna put it at?
I think you're gonna be,
I think
it was
jumping it
1,000.
jumping it from 200 to 2,000 will probably get moved back from that. Might not, but I suspect we would be.
well, why don't we just get a, I mean, we gotta throw something in there and then get a real number, and then they can just tone it down, you know?
Yeah.
When are they gonna actually adjust all the budgets and stuff?
Oh, we just started,
I
because
don't-
what we did is we just gave them out after we did all the third quarter expenditures. We wanted everybody to know what a full 3 quarters look like,
Yeah.
and that's why you're still gonna tweak numbers. Some departments will tweak numbers till December,
Yeah.
because you
We-
can't get
we-
anybody to give you a quote
We
until
can
next
roll
year.
2,000 in there and we're doubling our budget. Budgets, you know, that always sounds bad, or any department, any
But
group
if
to
it's-
say
But if you're
double.
gonna
If you
get a
put
new-
$2,000 and there's a column to the right with an explanation as to the increase,
Yeah. you're gonna
you
get a
can
new
say,
laptop.
new computer, updated software,
Right.
you know,
You can,
there's an
absolutely.
explanation, it's not just you pull,
Yeah,
I'll stop at that point.
I mean, it's not gonna be cheap, I mean, we can, I think we just put, you know, a higher amount and then have it reduced down based on real price.
Right.
So it's
We,
first
we,
round.
we've,
And then
we
maybe,
rarely expend our budget. You know,
so you're
but
gonna put
it's-
2 for now?
We'll run 2 in, sure.
And I can
I've
note
Locked into 2 and
new
with the-
laptop and software.
That's actually, the laptop will come out of conservation. I think that's not gonna be enough for both.
But
That's literally, ArcGIS has got a very expensive maintenance agreement. It's kinda like AutoCAD. I mean, that's sort of, you know, they gouge you pretty good. They're the only game in town.
So it's not the laptop.
It's the actual software license.
harder sell, but
There's
people understand something you can,
It's this
you can
annual-
see.
Yeah, it's an annual maintenance fee, unless we choose
Just-
to just go to the annual, you know, cloud license. One or the other. but-
You want to strike
Lots of-
laptop and just call it
lots of that
software
much.
licenses?
Software maintenance agreement.
Yeah, sounds about right. Log in on our account.
So I can explain to you, so the 1,077 and the dollar, we have to leave a dollar in there to leave the line open. And she takes the majority of the FICA and Medicare somewhere else. Probably comes out of mine. So one will be over, one will be under. But the wages is that.
All right,
So-
so those stay in as dollars, so it really, if we're looking at a total number now, we have
So what you get the, yeah, so
1,079.
what you get the minus is your increase over default is, if you look at the column that has the minus 50, minus 200, that's because it's subtracting 0. Your default is 50. You've got 0 to subtract. So your increase or decrease is a minus. She's got them set up, I think, to minus this from that. Because that's the proposed over or minus the default.
Still doesn't explain the 718 though,
It's what?
the top. the
Yeah,
top-
she's got it if you,
That
I
minus
mean,
718.924, something else is happening to that one.
oh, it's a formula base probably, I don't know. Yeah, I can ask her that.
The other ones,
Yeah.
certainly
yeah,
see that,
I see
yeah.
that. So that's you want for your first round?
So, 8, 2, 9, plus 2K. My numbers are right. It looks like we're proposing a $3,829 budget.
What'd you add to it, 20, 56, 7. So you added 27?
Uh, 2750.
455.
Training 50, dues 500, supplies 50, communications 150, technology 2,000.
And then
The other one at 1079
plus
for,
$1 and $1.
well, 77 plus 1 plus 1. So we're getting to the $1,079. Any more thoughts on that one? And I don't know that we need a motion, but we can accept one. It sort of formalizes our proceedings. Did that come to 3,829, Naomi?
$38.29.
3829.
Good.
Yep.
Will you share that with Beth, or
Mm-hmm.
need that come from me?
No, I can do that.
Okay. Anybody have further thoughts on the budget? That would seem to be no. Anybody have additional conservation items for tonight?
I gave you these two, so we could wrap this up.
Yeah.
So you had asked me a long time ago, this is the original draft that you had. And then I sent it to Jeremy. Jeremy wrote in what he'd like to see changed in the handwritten.
Yeah.
And the only, if you just look at Jeremy Turner, he put New Hampshire license survey forester, and he put his number. Can you see that?
On the first page.
On the
top,
first
yeah.
page. Then you flip over to the second page, the only thing he touched was his fee schedule. Because we had 65, he moved it to 75 and crossed out principal. Then he went down to logs, instead of 6, he put $5. He crossed out at cordwood and did pulp and chipwood at $1 a ton.
Yeah.
And then the project administration, he has 20%. And then he said, quoted typically with a not to exceed. That's on page 2, and the only thing he had on page 3 was he will attend several one-hour meetings annually. That's all he put.
Yeah.
And then that's what he gave me to change it from what you had originally in the draft.
Who's the signatory? Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, because they're waiting for you guys, and I know it was back a few months ago. I was supposed to find you the original, and then Jeremy's marked up one.
You ready for a motion on
Sure.
that? So make a motion that the Conservation Commission's recommend to the Board of Selectmen to sign the amended general services agreement between the town of Ware and Meadowson Timberlands.
Second.
Any further thoughts from that, from commissioners? There being none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any abstentions? That's an all in favor.
You want that? Do you have-
Thank you.
Nice to have that wrapped up, huh? We're pretty close to being wrapped up.
One thing,
Yeah,
my list gets longer, and then we take one off.
it's been going on for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Two pieces of paper, not two items, right? I thought, Naomi, you said there were a couple other things. Did you just,
Oh, yes, these two. I didn't mean anything more than that.
one item?
One
Okay.
item, 2 pieces of paper.
Yep.
On motion on mowing.
Let me,
Did, Gary,
yeah,
Yeah, we need to.
yes, I've been
call.
thinking about that
I
one.
was approached at the post office by somebody else.
Oh.
I'm like,
Oh,
Don't they usually do that?
yeah.
the neighbor.
Kind of wait for that statement of concern from the neighbor.
Mm-hmm. Well, I said, I'll get him the message.
Yeah, that would be good, Steve. That was one of the things I'd wanted to catch.
Yeah, just make a motion, for up to $400 to mow and, maintain the, any encroaching trees around the field on, Eastman along Route 77.
Top of the hill above Blackbirds.
Hmm?
Top of the hill above Blackbirds.
No, it's not, well, I mean, yeah,
It
it's
is,
on the
yeah.
road, yeah, right.
It's
What'd you call it, the easement?
next to the
Eastman.
cemetery.
Yeah.
Right, next to the cemetery.
Town forest. Eastman. Eastman is short for Eastman Town Forest, or the Charles and.
But you want him to
Ethel-
mow and maintain
No.
the easement?
No, no,
No,
no.
it's a m-
Eastman.
That's what I was trying
The
to.
field
said
or
the whole
meadow
thing.
right on
Yeah.
77.
Yeah.
You know, across from where Mabel and Joe Trimley live.
Near Steve Flanders' house.
Not too far from Steve's.
Not too far indeed.
Does that every year, right?
Once a year.
It's done once a year.
Yeah,
We've been doing that for a long time, once a year.
since we've
yeah.
owned it.
Yeah. Do we have a second on the motion?
Second.
All in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
It's all in favor.
Okay, so we're,
Wait a minute. Maybe we need to, funding. Where's,
conservation.
we've got two options. We got a budget,
Is there anything in the budget?
there's stuff in the budget, and we got our conservation fund.
I'll use the budget then.
We're getting toward the end of the year. Here's the budget, Mark.
Yeah, choose the budget.
I think, all right. How do we incorporate that into our motion?
I just did.
We've got that incorporated into our motion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Thank you.
So where it's under the town purchasing amount, we're just gonna call the same person, just call Gary and,
That's, please do.
You gonna handle that?
you wanna handle it? I can, I get it, yeah. That's fine.
Okay.
Good to do that every year.
All right, good.
Your list is getting way too long.
As the staff gets way too short.
Yeah.
Eastman Town Forest Management Plan. We need to get comments. Steve did. I sent a few other things along. Need to get comments on that. Any comments that folks want to be addressed to me or directly to Matthias, so that they can finalize that.
Did you share that with everybody?
I
I'm
sent,
not getting
I
it.
didn't get it.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say
just
that.
got this at
It doesn't,
3:30 this afternoon.
See what yeah, I don't,
Anything other than that, one thing from you.
your email doesn't work on the conservation thing either. That's,
Mark's bounces back.
that account
Do
is,
you have it right?
I got
You have the Mark
emails.
Phillips one, that's the one that bounces back, so I always penned it out to the Gmail one.
I didn't get any
could you
emails.
put a preferred address on that?
You get yours, don't you?
I get mine.
Yeah.
I didn't get it.
All right, I will resend.
I'll check, I'm gonna change his though. I'm gonna change yours to the Gmail, Mark. On the link, I mean, on the
Why-
group.
Why wouldn't I get it, though? I get all the
I
other
don't know.
stuff.
no,
No, but-
I'm just CC'd Andy, yeah. let me forward.
So you'll forward it and then ask him to comment back to you?
Yeah.
Those are the two emails that I have. I get the stuff from my own.
You want to keep your clipboard?
Yeah, we get it off the Gmail one. Yeah.
Gmail account.
I sent the whole entire request for comments out like ages ago. It was a couple months back. Did you get one on that? No?
Which one are you trying on the group email, Naomi?
I'm
Yeah.
using the Gmail one that works for him. Because I had it in the group email, I have him as Mark Phillips, and that's the one that bounces back. So then I add him, after the group, I add him to Gmail as a
And
separate.
that's what you got at 3
And
something
that's what he
today.
keeps getting from me. is
Can
the
we
Gmail
go
one.
into the group and change?
That's why I said I need to,
Need to-
I need to
need to
move
see about
his, and I
that,
gotta see
yeah.
why Sherry's not in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Because Ray's getting his.
Hmm.
I see Bill gets his. I'm guessing Mike gets his, I haven't heard. So I just need to check and change Mark's to the Gmail and then
Yeah,
make sure Sherry's in there.
And you haven't done anything to yours, it's been the same thing for
Yeah,
forever. and
yeah, haven't done anything.
You get it when I hit you direct on it.
Well, there's actually certain people that can't send me emails. I haven't figured it out why. Certain customers will send me an email, I don't get it,
Well,
and I can't send to them. So somehow it's
And
the
it's not
way,
in my junk mail either.
yeah, I was
Right.
gonna say, I'm gonna look in my junk mail, but I don't think it's going there.
so I'll have trouble sending someone an email, and then I give up. So I tell Donna, my wife, she'll go to her computer and send it to them from there, and then they get it from her computer.
She has a Midas touch.
We have the same server, so I don't
It's
understand.
weird.
This can be a size thing. You know, I sent this to everybody's individual emails on August 16th.
I'll look when I get, not tonight, but I'll look in the morning.
Yeah. I didn't send it to because we have a lot of trouble with, stuff bouncing on the,
So August 16th from you, Steve. Okay.
yeah, I mean, so that has the whole plan. It's big, so I don't know if anybody has size
Right.
limitations. It's like
I don't.
23, and I just forwarded my comments to everybody that,
I'll look tomorrow.
No, not here.
yeah, I don't know. So, Mark, you're, Mark at markphillipsauto.com.
That's one that doesn't work.
That's the one that doesn't work.
Works for everybody else, but I have had the same like Ray. I have certain people, it will not come through.
Hmm.
Has something to do, I think, with Granite State.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, let me try.
But I seem to always get the Gmail.
Bill got it from you, August 16th.
Did he? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, ask him why I didn't comment. Give him a hard time.
Yeah, I'll do that right tomorrow.
So it's Mark at
No.
Mark P. Auto.
All lowercase, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
Gmail.com.
Gmail.
All right, I just forwarded that one
Mark
from
P. Auto.
August to you.
Yeah, it's on it.
Okay.
Well, you got it. Yeah, I mean, that one there's got my comments on it,
Yeah.
but I just sent that one, let me see. Yeah, so now I gotta go back and forward that other one too.
Now, that one came in on my Mark Phillips.
Oh my God.
Oh, the one with my comments? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just sent the other one, and it's not really going, I don't know what's going on with it.
All right. I stumble and try again.
Oh, so the thing I wanted to say about that, I kind of felt like we just basically said, yeah, there's a plan that's due for renewal, and we didn't really, like, talk about what we're doing or what the outlook for the next 10 years. I almost felt like in reviewing this, like, we just kind of whipped up a plan without really talking about what our goals were and what they thought our goals were, and I just assumed see Matthias come in here and discuss it.
Yeah, which I think he's on board for doing. Of course,
Yeah.
we pay him to do that, but that's what we need.
Yeah, it is. And then, like, I
So, I
agree.
mean, you'll look at your comments, you'll look at my comments, we'll have plenty to talk about when we get them in for the next, update. But he's wanting to finish that document,
Yeah, but I'm saying no,
yeah, until we.
don't approve it until we have a meeting. There was a bunch of fluff in there, and I was like, found myself just, I don't know.
I don't know whether you saw my comments.
Yeah,
but,
sorry.
Yeah, there was some significant new work added over the prior iteration of the management plan.
Well, I mean, there was a bunch of, like, when everybody digs through them, like, some of the stuff, I had problem with, there was a bunch of stuff about northern long-eared bat. We're not using federal funds, so it doesn't matter. this complicated rule, it's not that complicated, but there's a rule that you have to follow if there's federal funds, doesn't involve us, didn't need to be there. We don't, you know, we don't know if we have northerns or not, and we're not gonna spend the money to go
Find out.
put monitors out there and find out. It's a big landscape level issue that our management is gonna have absolutely nothing to do with it. And then there's this whole sudden incorporation of like climate and carbon and stuff like that, which is just one of these kind of trending things that honestly, we're not gonna do much about it. I mean, I think we're mostly geared towards traditional sort of forestry and recreation and all those sorts of things. And I mean, if there's something we can make some extra money off of, you know, let's hear about it, but there wasn't anything really in there headed that direction either, you know, so. That's why I just said, whoa, you know, I think we need to, I mean, my comment was, I think we really need to have in-person discussion on what we're doing.
Right, and another thought I had on that is if we want our forester to put together a position paper for us, then we can talk about that, but,
Yeah.
if you haven't had a chance, it's worth looking into. We're paying somebody to manage a forest. We only do it effectively if we stay engaged in reviewing the work and really giving it some thought as to why we have town forests in the first place. What are we trying to get out of it? What are we trying to put into it? How does it aid the town, and how do we function as stewards with that? So the worst kind of report is the one that we just kind of say, yeah, you did check off, you gave us something. We really benefit by digging into it, and they benefit too. So it's a good process. We just need to, you know, make sure that it's not just Steve reviewing it, because we all learn something and contribute something. And then if there are items that somebody wants to see incorporated, we can have a discussion about it and decide, you know, where the commission wants to go with something. Be they, you know, I said position, you know, are we gonna take a position on something? Maybe, maybe not. But to Steve's point, let's not back into it by default. Let's take it, discuss it, and incorporate it if it's in keeping with where our vision is and what we wanna get, what we wanna see.
You know what's really neat too, I just gotta interject that, you know, years ago, we were setting up for a harvest, and Naomi actually looked at the plan, and she was looking, remember the management units that came up, like which ones we were harvesting in there in Eastman, and I know you had some comments years ago, and I was like, you know, so there are some times when someone else may take a look and say, hey, what are you guys doing, or how does this relate to your management plan? So it's like, I wanna make sure everything kinda makes sense that's in there, and we're somewhat, I mean, there's always gonna be adaptation because of markets and things like that, but,
Couple other items that come in. Matthias is recommending trail enhancements on the Eastman. Let's talk about it. And then also getting forest products out from the northwest corner of the parcel onto 114 Direct. Let's talk about it. That's a rather significant change in, potential change in orientation on the property. Maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't, I don't know.
tricky spots of land up there.
Yeah.
You'd almost be better off if you could work out a deal with the school, come in over there.
Might be a good idea, it might be a hard sell, but might not be without, you know, without knowing. The other forestry thing that came up in this past interim since the last meeting, we had an upset neighbor to our, was it Toby Hill?
I don't think that's been straightened out.
Not? I'm sorry to hear
It
that.
was the neighbor was down the road, though. I thought it was somebody that lived right there on Toby Hill, but it wasn't.
I think the exchange just stopped, because it was getting ridiculous, but.
I mean, just about the truck blocking the road and someone
Right.
having to go, yeah.
Mhm.
Because Matthias went and talked to them.
Oh, that one, yes. I thought you meant the other one on the same road we talked about earlier tonight.
I'm not picking up on that one, so.
That's all right.
We'll leave that in
Yeah.
in that world, but, yeah, Matthias took care,
Mm-hmm.
apparently to the offended party's satisfaction,
Yeah.
and the
Yeah, that was nice of him
sort
to
of
do that.
trucker
Yep.
sort of backed off and apologized, sort of
Yeah.
ish.
I
But
think it
when
was in the
people,
heat of the moment.
when people are in a rush to get somewhere in times and you're not making connections, it gets very frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And we rely on our forester to
Mhm.
troubleshoot, and that was
Oh, he
seemingly
did a
at
good
a point
job.
where he did a good job troubleshooting.
Did a good job.
It's a bit of a different harvest, but
Mhm.
each one, you know, carries an element, and I think it only speaks well of the folks we have chosen to do work for us. And it's definitely valuable to their business, to our position to have complaints addressed. So, good. That's all I got. That's enough for me tonight. Anything else?
So, we're gonna be back at the Board of Selectmen,
Monday night.
right? Any chance of like, do you know, I mean, can you slide that in the agenda at a certain time, Naomi?
I don't give times.
This comes in as department.
Yeah, I mean, we've already got 6 and 6:30 for non-publics. I'm sorry, 6:30 and 6:45.
What time's the meeting?
So we probably won't start till 7.
Because then, I mean, like for agenda items, didn't you, like, I know you kind of guesstimated.
And then we do public comment,
And then
and I never
department
know
heads.
if there's 0 or 100, because they don't sign up.
So, oh, I thought that got moved to the back. It got moved back up again.
Move to the front, we used to have 2. We only have 1 in the front.
Oh.
And then there's department head and committee items.
So are we going under that, or is it going
Yeah.
under an agenda?
No,
Okay.
department head and committee items.
And we're probably, last time, between 2 visits, probably took up half hour, 40 minutes. It sounds like the board rolls with what's in front of them and doesn't try to shoehorn. So we'll get a hearing and be able to talk about what we need to talk about. And Naomi, you don't ever, not ever, let me rephrase. Does it help you to have a department or commission, committee, board head give you an estimate of how much time it might take, or is that just gets unwieldy to?
No, because it
set
could
any
change Monday
expectation.
morning, others may be coming in.
Right.
They may have something happened over the weekend, I need to
So the point
change
is, we don't try to do that.
Nope.
And it becomes a
It's been pretty
exercise
good.
in patience and in
Right.
purpose.
It's
So
been very good.
we'll try to stay purposeful and try to stay patient. And I agree, it's worked out just fine for me the last few times I've been part of it. And on that note,
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
all in favor of adjourning at 8:58, say aye.
Aye.
Somebody wanna turn that off? You don't have to touch that. That just goes.
Just the master.
But this